tomorrow, people of the Internetiverse. So, I still have this delightful cold flu chest, whatever the hell it is. So my voice is still hilarious. So I can't really do as much as I was hoping to do in this week's vlog. So instead I'm going to have to postpone the one I was going to do for 2 weeks' time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask now, and a quick reminder at the end, to whatever voices or quotes or phrases, words, noises, etc. you want to hear me do. I'm going to do an entire vlog on voice acting and all of the crazy stuff I can, not necessarily I can do, but I can attempt to do. And I'm going to do as many of them as I possibly can and get it all in one vlog. So if some of you want to see me attempt to do like random characters from the Mario universe, like Toad and stuff, I'll give those a shot. If you want to see me do it from certain animes, you want to see me do just a voice you've thought up yourself, and random old lady, do you want to see me do the main guy from 24, I don't know. Whatever you want to see, comment either on this video or on the post I've put up about it. Anything, any way you want, just let me know how you want me to do this and I'll give it a shot. On to the vlog. So, today's vlog, I'm going to talk about a book I attempted to write a long time ago. It was, I cannot for the life of me remember what the influence was. I can remember like everything I had planned for it, the entire premise, but fell through pretty much because I don't do well at writing down detail. If any of you have ever seen anything I've written, either scripts or stories and so on, like, I may have a brilliant idea and a brilliant vision of what it is, but it'll be the basics and there's no detail, so it's essentially a bland, one-dimensional person will be doing something with another bland, one-dimensional person, stickmen and stickmen sort of thing. So, after a while I sort of got sick of realising that I'm not very good with detail, and it took me a long time to just get like the first chapter of it into detail enough that it seemed like a book, and it didn't strike me as something I wanted to carry on with. I can pass on the idea to anybody that wants to do it. I can give every piece of information there was ever going to be about it, but for me it was just falling through. So the name I went with in the end with the book was just called Focus, and the original idea was it was about a young boy, about mid to late teens, so not too young, boy's probably the wrong term, mid to late teens, who wanted to be something more than he was, but wasn't really anything. He was just another random kid on the bus to college, to school, wherever, and just sort of blended in. And the main reason he wanted to was because he was in head over heels in love with his childhood friend, who I called Sarah, and this kid was found to have had some, I decided he was going to have just like a really simple mental disorder, nothing that was going to terribly affect his life, something that was an inconvenience, but something that wasn't going to leave him in hospital all the time and with constant care and so on. So I think I said he was going in for a test for dyspraxia at the very beginning of the book, and then it all sort of changed around and I got rid of that idea because I didn't know enough about it, and I felt that I was, like I am now, probably being quite offensive about it simply because I'm ignorant and I don't know enough about it, so it felt rude to talk about. So instead I decided that he was just going in for some test at school, and on the bus on the way he found that he had superpowers. He was getting picked on by some kid who was dating this girl he was in love with, and this guy always used to rub it in his face, push him around, and he finally decides to swing at him, and suddenly his arm swells up to a ridiculous size, almost Hulk-like in strength, and punches this kid so far back it actually dents the back of the bus and causes some severe damage to both the bully and the bus. The girl then gets on literally just in time to see this, and obviously isn't too pleased, screams at him, and her powers come forward as well, and she has the power of persuasion, so she tells him to get off the bus, meaning to, at the next stop, get off and get to school a different way. But because of the power of persuasion, as soon as she says that, boom, his mind goes over. Next thing he knows is he wakes up in a hospital bed as he just jumped off a moving bus. And that was my big climactic opening. And it went from there into 3 main characters. It was Sarah and... can't remember what I called my main character. Their powers were, like I said, being able to increase the size, strength, etc. of any one part of his body at a time, and hers was persuasion. And then the other character that I'd decided to bring in was called Vincent, and his dad was the owner of Cart Corp, and Mr. Cartwright was one of the most powerful and richest men in the world, and Vincent, his young son, was always, never important enough for his dad to spend time with him, always left on his own, or left with his butler, who became one of his closest friends. And he was convinced and obsessed with finding out that people had superpowers and wanted to be the next person to come forward with one. But his dad always thought it was a foolish idea, told him never to think about it, and pushed him aside. And the whole arc was going to simply be that the main character was going to join some underground superpower resistance force trying to, survive and carve out a living for themselves and not get captured and killed by the government. Sarah was trying just to find the main character and get him back, and then, figure out where her life was going until she falls in love with Vincent, and then their worlds sort of collide there. And then Vincent was to find superpowers, then finds that he has possibly one of the most powerful abilities in the world, his being, I believe I chose that he has the power to amplify sound, and that sound will amplify through every person that, I think it's every person that loves or fears him. So at first it only works amplifying it straight through him and Sarah, and that's about it. But as he slowly gets more angry and sick of being cast aside by his father, and Sarah's love for the main character and not for him starts to grow, he decides that the true way to, take over the world is through fear and not through love and kindness and care, etc. So, with Vincent as our villain and our 2 main characters, it was all going to go from there. And it was a big book, and it took a lot of thoughts, and I've still got ideas. I've still got 23 chapters written, probably more. All of this put down. I've got all of the villains put out. I've got all of the good guys, powers for both. I've got a prophecy written. I've got drunken hobo rant that I wanted to put in there. I've got all of this weird stuff all written, but it's a project I'm never going to finish. It's fallen through, and I'm not as upset by that as I always thought I would be. It was something that, on my way to college, I was obsessed with writing. It kept me going on bus journeys, it kept me going on boring lessons and things that I didn't want to know. I'd got this to write about, and it was important to me, but now that I don't really need it, I look back and think that, it was never going to work out with my style of writing and its style of working, so... Oh well, it fell through and I've learnt from it, so... Thanks for watching as always. I will be back in 2 weeks with, like I said, the voice acting vlog, and next week we've got another sketch, so any voice acting comments, voices, etc. you want, let me know. And until then, see you around YouTube.